Okay, I call to order the Wickliffe City Council meeting of May 24th, 2021. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Present.
Hardstein,
Here.
Jaworski,
Here.
Kosky. I didn't see her. Come on. Levon,
Here.
Sakis,
Here.
Piloto.
Here.
Approval of council minutes.
Make a motion.
The motion we accept.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Garrettstein, second by Councilwoman Saloto to approve the council minutes of May 10th, 2021 as presented. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Hardstein,
Randy, he might be frozen.
looks like it. Shall I just go on?
Yeah.
Okay. Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky is joining right now. Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Piloto.
Yes.
Reports and communications from the mayor, safety director.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. As I mentioned at the council meeting 2 weeks ago, we didn't have enough lifeguards to open all the pools, and that unfortunate fact is still true today. I talked with the recreation and service director on Friday and made that final decision that we can only open Colby Pool. Council knows this problem is not unique to Wickliffe, as not only other cities around us, every city, but even places like Cedar Point cannot open 100% as they can't staff the park. And they pay $20 an hour. So with that, please stop with the political nonsense. I'm disappointed that some members of council are choosing to throw me under the bus on social media as if I'm choosing to close the pool to upset people. I thought we were past this and going to be working together. I must have been mistaken. But moving on, 2 financial items. The police chief will be asking for a bit more money for overtime, which I believe he's already discussed with the council president. We're not out now, but he wants to get ahead of this based on how the year is trending. I'd like council to again consider upgrading our finance software. We discussed it the last year's budget. It was about $40,000, maybe a hair under, and council decided to table that for a year. Not only will this help our finance staff process everything they need to in a timely manner and make our audits easier, this also has upgrades which include online benefit portal for all of our employees. So there's perks for both sides, the administration and the employees. This will actually save us money by acting now compared to waiting next year because the cost has gone up since that projection last year. 2 good news items at the community center. One, we resumed conversations with university hospitals, which we started, I think, about 2, maybe 2.5 years ago when the fire chief introduced me to some folks, and we just kept the conversations going. And then Monica's done a great job of following up and working out the details and making sure that I got across the finish line with COVID, putting things on hold. So they're going to be committing to having a doctor on site a few days a week in the same location, that little room where the podiatrist is located. This item's actually still in committee. I would ask that council reports it out of committee, and we're going to prepare legislation as we get the contract in line with them, but there's not a lot of moving parts, and they're going to pay prevailing wage rates for that space. I expect this momentum to continue as the months go on with UH and other companies of similar stature. And second, the Lake County Council on Aging will be resuming inside lunches starting in June, 3 days a week, and will increase from there. So very excited our seniors can really start to gather again. And that's all I've got. Back to you, Council President.
Any questions or comments for the mayor, safety director? Councilwoman Saloto?
So I know this has been a topic of conversation on social media. I have not been on social media with respect, John, with respect to the pools, but I did want to throw out the fact that I think we did have some other options. I know we don't have 65 lifeguards or whatever we needed to staff both pools full time. But I know that the suggestion had been made, I don't know if you had made it, Randy, or someone had made the suggestion that it might make sense to, for a couple of reasons. Number one, Ginger Pool probably shouldn't sit dormant for a whole year. I mean, it would be great to be able to use it because then I think we'll have much less maintenance and repair going forward in subsequent years. But also, what if we kept, Ginger Pool open half of the time, maybe in the evenings, because people tend to go to Ginger a little more often toward the evening, or at least, our older folks do, and keep Colby open during the day. Have we given any thought to that at all?
A little bit of thought, yes.
I think it might actually sort of be a win-win in a lot of different arenas, just because it's a shame to let Ginger deteriorate. I mean, that's what happens to pools when they sit there. I mean, it's already been sitting there for a long time. I mean, what if we just opened it in the evenings? And, I think we could probably spread the staff out.
It is a shame. I agree.
I mean, would you consider that? Just taking a look at that?
We already did.
And it just didn't seem to work out, or is it
Nope.
more expensive? I mean,
We don't have enough lifeguards. I mean, we don't have enough lifeguards. Nobody has enough lifeguards.
right, but
I don't
you're
know how
going
to
to have.
keep saying that in different ways.
Well, if you have Colby open in the evening, if you closed Colby in the evening and opened Ginger in the evening hours instead, that's the same staff from what I could see, isn't it? Wouldn't it be the same number of people? I mean, I just am getting a lot of disappointment from the community. And I'm
I
thinking,
understand.
maybe
I
we could-
understand. It's very disappointing. I mean, every city's in the same situation. I understand. It's
But we-
difficult. It's upsetting. Other cities have multiple pools as well. I'm sorry this is not working out. We don't have enough lifeguards. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, you could see how it would look odd because you did really want to close Ginger, and you have been wanting to close Ginger for a couple of years now. So, I mean, it seems odd that you wouldn't consider just opening it half time and
I
sort
already
of
did
splitting the
consider.
staff between.
I already did consider. I said that 3 or 4 times. We did consider that.
But
We don't have enough lifeguards.
I just want.
No more comments
All
on the
right,
pool from me. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, I guess that's it, guys. He's made
Any
his
other questions or-
decision. and
Any other
I
questions or comments?
Understand.
Understand. Any other questions or comments from the Mayor Executive Director? Councilman Garrett Stein.
I'm sorry, I was logged off there for a minute. Did I just catch that before I said anything? Did the mayor just say there's no more comments on the poll before I asked a question?
He's not making any more comments.
From me, no more comments from me. You guys can make all the comments you like, but I just feel like I'm saying the same thing that I said 2 weeks ago and that I discussed on Friday with the directors and that I just said 4 or 5 times. So you're correct. No more comments from me, but you're welcome to make all the comments you like.
Any other questions or comments for the Mayor, Executive Director? John, just one thing on that UH lease, the community center. I'm going to call, we're going to have a meeting on the 7th anyways for the tax budget. So I'll just call a meeting there. We can open,
Okay.
and close it. We can open and close that topic that night on the 7th. Okay.
June 7th, correct?
Correct. So I'll call that
Okay.
meeting when we get the committee reports. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. No other comments. Thank you, Mayor Barbish. Reports and communications from the Director of Law.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I have no report for council this evening.
Any questions or comments for the Director of Law? Thank you, Mr. Zealy. Communications from the Council President. I will just wanted to publicly announce and on record say that to pencil in-person meetings in September. Other cities have gone back are going to go back in June. I think we're gonna stay on Zoom or stay remote for the rest of this for June, and then after our recess, we'll go back in September to in-person meetings. So pencil it in unless the governor changes his mandate on social distancing. Any amendments or additions to the agenda? Seeing none, move on to administrators. Police Chief Ice is excused. Does anybody have a report for him? Mayor, do you have a report for him or no?
No, we spoke on Friday and he mentioned he was going to reach out to you before he left for vacation. Not sure if he did or not.
He did about asking for appropriations. Ms. Doles, do you want a motion for that, or do you are just gonna put in legislation for the appropriations of that 32,000 for overtime?
I was going to address that in my report, but yeah, the mayor instructed me to have an appropriation ordinance when we spoke on Friday for the next meeting.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just make a motion to authorize the finance director to move $32,000, create legislation, authorize the law director to create legislation, or the finance director to create legislation to appropriate $32,000 to the police department overtime line item.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Levon, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to authorize the finance director to create legislation to move $32,000 over to the police department overtime budget. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Pogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Andy, you're on mute.
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll move on to Fire Chief Powers.
Thank you, Council President. In addition to my previously submitted report, we're having a little bit of a part-time firefighter shortage right now. As you're aware, we're in competition with everybody else. Hillcrest area pays quite a bit more. And then, of course, we're always fighting against Mentor and Willoughby to fill positions. But we're hopeful. We have a number of recruits going through the process, and we hope to get them hired here soon. We're also working on promotions. We have an upcoming retirement in August, and the Civil Service Commission's working through some promotionals for us. We're working with the Finance Department on some cost recovery for all the vaccinations that we did. That should probably be done by the end of the month. And then finally, the COVID reports that I get daily from the health department are almost non-existent, which is a very good sign for us that things are really improving tremendously. I mean, it's almost crazy how quickly it's improving, which is good. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the Fire Chief? Thank you,
Excuse
Chief.
me, Ed.
No, go ahead. Go Councilman Gerhardstein.
On that police, like I said, I'm sorry I missed the beginning with a computer problem, but on that police note, did they change it from the 30 to the 32, or did you raise it to 32?
Well, we can talk about it during the finance report. I thought it was 32. He said,
That's what I'm just asking before, if we can change it now, but the chief asked for 30,000 in overtime. Did you want to leave it at 32?
we'll just leave it at 32.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Any questions or comments for the Fire Chief? Thank you, Chief Powers. Finance Director Doles.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to let you all know that ordinance 2021-27 that's on tonight is to authorize the subsidy fund transfer from the general fund to the special projects fund of $530,000 that was previously approved in the annual appropriations. As of the end of April, the general fund balance was $5.9 million. The gross income tax distributions from RETA at the end of April was 6.45% lower in 21 than it was in 2020, which equates to about $263,000 $150,000. However, the refunds that we have issued through the end of April in 2021 were $113,000 less than those in the same period of 2020. And the appropriation ordinance for next meeting, I'll do that at 32. Chief Ice had said 30,000 to me as well. And I also put it out to the other department heads to see if anything that they, before break, before your recess, if they needed anything else. Am I permitted to put that on the ordinance as well if someone comes up with something that they think they will need in the next few months?
I would say that they should present a business case to the council. The Chief Ice did send a business case for why he needed overtime. If another department does, I'd like them to address council in some way before you put it on an ordinance.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the finance director? Councilman Gerritstein.
If we do get COVID, a second round of COVID relief, is the overtime for the police department going to be covered in that CARES, the second COVID money?
I have not received the guidance for the American Rescue Plan yet. And that's what, it all depends on what the guidance comes through and how they want to justify that. I've heard a myriad of different things, and some say that, we might have to justify that this overtime was caused directly by COVID and that you're responding to COVID cases. So I really cannot answer that question at this time.
All right. And then if you have time, get back to me about those numbers that we talked about last week on my
Okay.
report.
Yes.
You never called me back, so just let me know when you find out. Okay?
For the property tax.
Yes,
Okay. I thought Sandy sent you the revisions.
she did, but
That's
she did. You
suggested.
call back to tell me about if the math was right.
Oh, the math is right.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any further questions or comments for the finance director? Thank you, Mr. Olson. Engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. Couple things to add to my written report. This is the season of funding applications. Next Tuesday, our Nature Works application for the Ginger Trail resurfacing project is due. On Friday, I believe, we have applications for Ohio Public Works Commission, which we're submitting two submittals of applications for Lakeland Boulevard resurfacing phase 2 and for East 296th Street water line replacement and resurfacing projects. And to top it all off, on Wednesday, the CMAQ applications are due to NOACA, which we're putting an application together for improvements to Rockefeller Road, even though we're not quite convinced, we're not sure what we're going to do there. I put kind of a worst case scenario together, put some numbers to it, and because it's a couple years down the road, we wanted to try to get some funding for that with NOACA. It's an 80% NOACA, 20% city split, so let's go for it. Which brings me to the resolution for this evening. There is a resolution on the docket for authorization for the mayor to apply for this funding for the NOACA or CMAQ application. And if possible, I know that we didn't, it's in committee. This project is in committee. Councilman Jaworski put it in about a month or two ago. And I know, like I said, we still have to talk about what we're going to do there, but we're trying to get some funding for it even before we have that final decision.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to authorize the engineer to apply for funding through NOACA for let's just say improvements.
Second,
Moved by Council President Levant, second by Councilman Gerard Stein to authorize the engineer to submit an application to the NOACA, Northeast Ohio Airwide Coordinating Agency for funding for city improvements. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Koski,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Councilman Gerardstein.
Peter, are the bids going out next month for Roberts?
Yes, Roberts and for Lakeland Boulevard Phase 1.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the city engineer? Thank you, Pete.
As soon as I'm done with these darn applications.
Service Director Strouser.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, Colby Pool repairs of the buildings are, the building repairs are completed. We're doing some painting inside and some things like that. The whole pool was recaulked with some of the major improvements that we asked for. I had a little bit of a setback today on the Pebble Flex, which is the rubberized stuff around the creative play area. The stuff has been on order for a couple months. They just informed me today that it's not going to be until September. So they're going to come out and do repairs to it this year. We're going to get the product, and then they'll have to actually do I'm not going to have them do the application on it and have it sit through the winter. That's not good for it. So basically the Pebble Flex unit is going to get repaired this year. He's going to take that money deducted off of the total cost of replacement and give us that credit towards next year. But we won't have the actual Pebble Flex replaced until next year. And that's about it at the pool. We should be putting water in the end of this week, and hopefully that'll get up and going and won't be too many issues there. Homewood has been totally paved. Both the final application of pavement was put down. It looks nice. They did a fantastic job. We still have to do some landscaping there. The majority of the residents that wanted trees have been planted. That's about it. Anybody who wants a golf cart for the Memorial Day parade, please let me know by like Thursday so I can make arrangements to have that ready. And if you want to pick it up at the golf course, or if you want to pick it up down, I can have them delivered down to Mount Carmel where they start. You just have to inform me and let me know. Any council person is welcome to use one of the city's golf carts from the course. And that's all I have.
Ron?
Questions or comments for this service director?
Ron?
Councilman Bogo.
Yeah.
Yes. I know 2 years ago, we had troubles with the heater up at Kobe, the water. Was that fixed?
Yes, sir.
It was fixed. So, okay, because I've been getting a lot of questions on that. So I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Councilwoman Saloto.
Okay, not to belabor this point, guys, and I hope you'll just, understand that this is a tough thing for me to just let go, not really understanding what it's going to do to Ginger Pool to let it sit for another year. So Ron, is it going to be just basically completely done for as a pool, even though it's only a couple years old? I mean, is it even?
No, I would not say that at all. It may be a little bit more costly. I mean, that is a possibility. As I mentioned last time, I mean, it's not good for the pumps to have their seals sit and dried and stuff like that, because chlorine does damage to them, things like that. But it's nothing is that major of a fix as far as the pumps go, especially at Ginger, because the pumps at Ginger are probably half of the cost they are at Colby, if even that much. And there's way less of them. So, but
how much would it cost for you? I mean, do you have repairs to do there if you were to just by some miracle of God get to open it? Or
yeah, I honestly don't know until you put water in the pool. There's no way of telling. I mean, we did actually fire the pumps up. They did turn, but that doesn't mean they're not going to leak. That doesn't mean there's not going to be other issues with them. And like I said, a seal itself doesn't sound like much, but pretty much every time we've tried to replace a seal, we end up replacing the whole pump because they just don't come apart because of the damage the chlorine does. So again, I really wouldn't know until we put water in the pool, because you need water absolutely to run it and find out what's going on with it.
right. Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, sure.
Any further questions or comments for the service director? Councilman Gerardstein.
Hey, Ron, I just wanted to give you a compliment. I have reached, a couple of residents have reached out and said how nice Euclid Avenue looks since you guys fixed the asphalt on it. So thank you.
Good, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and they planted the flowers. I don't know if you know, but Keep Looking Beautiful planted the flowers, and we're gonna be maintaining them this year. But that's coming along also.
All right.
Thanks.
Councilman Jaworski.
Ron, Kimball seems to not be able to pick up everything on their scheduled days again. I mean, is this, what's going on with them?
They're still having staffing issues. When I talked to the guy in charge, actually, he was out on a route the other day when I talked to him. All their administrators, everybody is out on routes. I talked to the Euclid service director. They're having issues too. They're having their issues. They didn't even go back and pick them up the next day because they have a 5-day route there, and they didn't even make it back to get them the next day. They were just leaving the stuff till the next week. But again, most of the issues, I haven't seen many issues at all with garbage. It's always just been the yard waste. And they said that their priority is obviously on getting the garbage picked up. And he said they were going to do their best absolutely to get all the garbage picked up. And once in a while, they might have to miss a yard waste can or two. And that was where he left it. He said they're doing their best they can. Again, it's a staffing issue. You know, I mean, they can't find people to come in and work.
Are you aware of other communities with different vendors who are having the same issues?
No, I talked to the Wilwick mayor also. He said they've had a few similar issues and they've had the same company. Everybody that I've talked to has used Kimball. Kimball's pretty much has this area kind of dominated a little bit. I do know that I think it's Richmond Heights uses Republic, and I think he had a few issues with them also.
I think Willoughby uses Republic as well. It might be just to see
Yeah, sure.
what.
I can give him a call if you'd like.
If you don't mind, I think that something like this is important because that contract is going to be coming up in the not too distant future. And if they can't continue to staff their company, I mean, there's going to be issues down the road. So I think it would do us well right now to do a little bit of research as we prepare for that next contract that will eventually be coming up.
I mean, this was coming from the Kimball guy, but he said everybody was having the issue. But, you know, like I said, I didn't really do too much research, so I can do a little more and find out for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the service director? Thank you, Ron. Building Commissioner Sack.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just one thing to add in my report. I finished up the grant for the CBG and turned that in Thursday, and that's all set. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we get the grant. And that's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the building commissioner? Thank you, Rick. Recreation Director, stop.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. We are in full swing with our summer activities, so we are full go. As the mayor said, you know, the hot topic is the guards. We just don't have enough certified guards. We have, you know, a couple of guards who part-time substitute guards, not very many full-time guards that want to work, you know, the 40 hours a week. And we just don't have near the number that we need to open everything. We're gonna, you know, open what we can as far as staff is concerned. Maria, Councilman Saloto, I've, you know, sent out to those couple spots, Andrews Osborne with their counselor offices, the Cornerstone. We sent out to Lake Catholic, you know, our notice about needing lifeguards. We just aren't alone in, you know, what's happening, you know, with pools. I've been working with Monica a little bit. She has a high contact with a company that specifically trains guards, that supplies guards, that manages guards, and they're in the same spot that we are. So it's not for lack of trying, for sure. So we're doing the best that we can, and we're going to open, you know, what we have staff for. And it's just it's tough right now. Like the mayor said, when Cedar Point's paying $20 an hour for a summer job, it's kind of hard to compete with some of that. It's just tough all over. I don't want to regurgitate, you know, some of the connection information, but, you know, we do have concerts in the park that are coming back down at our community center. We've got the Chardon Polka Band, June 22nd. I know there's going to be a council meeting before then, but I wanted to get the word out to everybody. July 20th, we've got the Pop-Tarts coming with the car show, the classic car show that night. On July 20th, August 17th, we have the Big Five show. And we've got the movies in the park, 2 movies in the park that are going to be happening this summer. June 18th is going to be the Toy Story 4 movie. And July 30th is going to be the Croods, A New Age. We've got the Bounce House, contracted to come. Actually, it's going to be a slide in a bounce house. We've got a DJ coming. We've got food trucks coming. So we're trying to get the summer back to normal. So those are my quick comments for recreation.
Hey, Tim, was a formal announcement made on the spray park in Orlando? Is that going to open or not?
We're still trying to staff it.
Okay.
I know that it only takes a couple. We're trying to make that happen. Rest assured, we're trying to make that happen.
Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if, what's the count on poll passes?
They start tomorrow.
Okay, so we don't have that count yet, so.
Don't have a count yet. Well, the count is 0.
Okay, very good.
Councilwoman Koski.
Tim, I was wondering how you're doing with staffing for the golf course and for the camp.
Summer camp, we're probably short 1.5 for summer camp. We've got about 50 kids that are signed up so far. So we're in a pretty decent shape with camp, but not as dire as the pools. And then golf course, we're still looking for some help. I know the golf course manager has a lot of pieces, that are being put together over there. So we're still looking for, some of the non-high school kids that can commit to us, through the September, October, until we shut her down, still, and the kids are back to school. So we're still kind of looking for that person who can help us out with a little more substantial hours during the off season, through the season and into the off season.
Okay, and then do you have a number of how many guards you do have, just so people know?
Right now, we've got 18 certified guards, and that's a combination of full-time, part-time, substitute guards. So, not everybody wants to be full-time. Some of these guys just want to work once, twice a week. Some of them want to work, 20 hours a week. So just because I have 18 doesn't mean I've got 18 full-timers.
Okay, I think that'll.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That'll answer a lot of people's questions as to why the pools aren't open. Thank you.
Yeah, when we typically have about 65, when you got 18, you just don't have them.
Councilman Sakis.
So 2 weeks ago, I thought we were at 40 to 45.
Yeah, Joe, what that was, kids have been interviewed and expressed an interest in working for us, but they don't have their certification. So that's what's happening is, I want to work for you. I want to work for you, but they don't have their certification.
So I know, so I believe Willowick's open on both pools. I guess my question is just maybe, so we're trying to show the residents we're trying everything. Is it possible to maybe offer $1 more an hour? Maybe entice the kid. I mean, it would be a wash for the shortage that we have. So it wouldn't be like we'd be overspending or,
Yeah, Joe, we offered to reimburse the kids, $200 if they committed to us full time, for their certification. And that's really not a big enough carrot right now to get them to our spot.
Gotcha.
Councilwoman Saloto.
Where do they have to go to get certified?
The Red Cross offers classes, but it's, various places throughout Lake County, Geauga County, Cuyahoga County. So, and they're not readily available. So, some of these kids might have to travel to Brecksville, for 4 days of classes. It's not just a one-day class. It's, 21 hours, 24 hours of class work and videos and hopping in the pool and taking swim tests. So it's not just an online class that, you can dial in and be certified when you're done with the online class.
Okay. I thought that you guys were maybe bringing somebody in to
We're
sort of.
trying, that was my comment with Monica. You know, she has some contacts with the company that does that type of, activity, and they are just having their problems also.
Because I know what the Red Cross certification thing is like, and it is very like time consuming.
Correct.
It's never in an easy place. These kids would have to get there. It's like, it's a tough, rigorous 4 days. I understand that, but I thought that you were, maybe having a class.
We were trying.
At Wickliffe, and that would have been, I think that would have turned it all around, only because I think you would have had a lot more interest from some of the kids in the
Well,
area.
Willoughby still has classes available, and I've been directing kids, go to Willoughby and get your certification. And once you get it, we're happy to keep you going. So there is an option, with Willoughby. They have a full-time person who's an aquatics director year round, that can do those type of certifications. And we've sent people that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm belaboring it. I know. I think it's a shame, but it is what it is.
Any other questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Councilman Sakis?
Yeah, Tim, I forgot to mention, didn't you recommend or something with maybe filling Gindra because it was quicker, easy to fill, to maybe certified guards there? So
we've come up with we've kicked every idea, Joe, and I don't know how far that's going to go. That could be something down the road, but not right at this moment. No.
Okay.
Councilman Jaworski?
Try this. Hey, Tim, based on the low amount of lifeguards that we have, will Kobe be fully open? Or are we only talking the pool area itself? I imagine you can't do the lazy river, the whole package with that few of lifeguards. What are we?
Right. I'm sorry, Matt. Keep going. I'm sorry.
What do you expect to be open at Colby in this upcoming year, so the residents are aware before they buy their pool passes?
Yeah, the main pool with the diving boards and the slide is what we can staff at this time, and the kids area also. So everything except the lazy river at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Tim. Economic Development Manager Drake.
Thank you, Council President. The city continues to receive and process residential community reinvestment area applications. And just to let everybody know, the last 3 or 4 that I've received have been new builds in the city. And these are a little bit higher, that in between step up house. So that's been nice to see. And these tend to sell rapidly within a month of being completed of the building. And though it's early for details, I have been in communication with various businesses and interested in real estate in the city, along with realtors that represent some of these properties. So once any of these projects are ready to move to the next step, I will be happy to provide information to council on this. Thank you, Mayor Barbish, for discussing University Hospital. They are looking at starting with 2 days a week for 2 hours each day at the community center. And just to let you know, I have a council meeting with Kirtland on June 7th. And if council president or any others would like to touch base on this prior to then, I'm happy to provide information to you, any information you might need. Last week was the initial meeting with MS Consultants as they were getting a feel for where some of the focus areas might be in the city along Euclid Avenue. MS Consultants will be planning on holding 2 pop-up meetings regarding the planning study. One will be held on July 20th at the Community Center Car Show, and the second will be at the movie night on July 30th. Then they are planning a community meeting for August 3rd, also at the community center. They were supposed to reach out to Tim and verify if, just to confirm these times are available. And I continue to be in contact with the Pisces representative, and hopefully we will know by the end of June what which direction they're going to go. And so I will keep you informed. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for the Economic Development Manager? Councilman Jaworski.
Monica, will the consultants be meeting with city council?
I hope they will. John,
I don't believe a separate meeting with council was in the agenda. I mean, members of council are welcome to attend these upcoming meetings. I mean, if Randy Garharstein's on the steering committee, so if there's a council rep there, he can update everyone as time goes on as well. But I can check the scope of work. I just don't have it with me. But I don't think they're going to be coming to a council meeting like in the next couple months, if that's what you're asking. Maybe at the end, but
I would have figured that at some point they would have wanted at least to speak with council during this whole process before the end of it. I mean, to me, it would just make common sense.
part of that is that having the pop-up meetings and attending those, I think right now they're just getting a feel for everything, reviewing all the base information. So base information on the zoning. They got a feel just along Euclid Avenue, kind of putting together a little bit of different ideas. I know Randy was there as both a representative of council and as a business owner along Euclid Avenue, and will be part of the steering committee. There was school board representative there because the middle school and that whole piece will be part of that project. I think it's important for council, and that's why I want to make sure you're aware of the meeting dates to attend. I don't think there's, I have to look at the schedule, if there's really much meetings prior to that, maybe one steering committee prior to that.
Okay.
Is there anything specific, Matt, that we could share with them, or what you would like to see?
No, I just thought that that they would come to council, we'd have a meeting, discuss things, discuss visions, stuff like that. And guess apparently that's not going to happen.
Councilwoman Saloto. Maria, you're on mute.
Sorry, because I was a little too animated there with my reaction. Yes, I understand that you have appointed Randy on the steering committee, and I think that's great. Mayor, I had a lot to do with, this is kind of what I've really wanted to bring to the city, and I'd like to be involved in those meetings. So I'm just going to go ahead and, just put that out at a council meeting. I think a few of us should be at these meetings. I think,
yeah, definitely. We're not keeping people away. I mean, if this was the first kickoff, well, this was the first kickoff meeting, and I mentioned this, I think, in my last report that it was coming up. It was the small group kickoff meeting 5 days ago. We're giving you all of the dates now. It's not like we were hiding it from anybody. You're welcome to attend all of these meetings. I mean, Monica, the dates. Yes, please do. Put them in your calendar and attend.
I didn't know about this kickoff meeting at all.
Because it was a small group of people. You weren't invited to it. I mean, to be frank, I'm sorry, but we didn't invite 40 people to it. We had a small group. We had lunch and went up and down Euclid Avenue and spent probably 4 hours together. A member of council was present. Monica's updating you with all the dates. Please attend, certainly. Just communicate amongst yourselves so there isn't 4 people showing up to any one meeting.
Council President.
And you won't be presenting to council at all. Is that?
No, Maria, that's not accurate. It's just what the pop-up meetings and the community meeting are about, are information gathering. So it's incredibly important for members of council to attend those meetings because your input is important. There is,
June 29th, Monica, there's the next steering committee meeting, June 29th at 4 PM at the community center.
Thank you, Randy. I love it. if you-
sorry, I missed that one. I was looking, I came across the August and I was looking at my calendar. So yeah, so the 29th, 4 PM,
June
and
29th at
then,
4 PM at the community center.
right. So the steering committee, they're, I think, trying to keep to about 15. But I know the mayor has identified some people for that. But if you got, Maria, the mayor's identified people for that, and
Thank you.
and so if you're interested in that,
I'm very interested in that. Yes.
okay.
Thank
And
you.
then the next steering committee
August
is
3rd at 6 PM.
August 24th at 4 PM. Their hope is to have these at the community center. She's supposed to reach out to Tim to verify that. And the last steering committee initially scheduled is for October 19th.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the Economic Development Manager? Thank you, Monica. I will now open the floor for audience participation. Each person will have a maximum of 5 minutes amount of time. Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? Mr. Liss.
Jim List, 29717 Arthur Avenue. I want to commend the following council people in alphabetical order for trying to keep the pools open. Councilman Gerhardstein, Sekas, and Saloto. Also, I got a question for the Recreation Director. How many minutes on the hour do the lifeguards work?
We can get you that answer, Mr. Liss. We'll have Tim, one of our council people will respond to get Mr. Stopp's answer and get it that to you. I don't know if he has that numbers offhand.
All right, because I just want to, sometimes I can swim laps. For 25 minutes, I'll get 3 different lifeguards. I just wonder.
Okay. We'll get you that answer, sir.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, I'll mark audience participation closed.
No, I have my hand raised.
I'm sorry.
My name is Mike.
Mr. Rick, sorry.
No, that's okay. My name is Mike Mitrovic. I've been resident of Wickliffe my whole life, 42 years. You know, live in the city, bought a house in the city, state, I've been in the city. Just very disappointed to see that, you know, a lot of people on council seem like they want to work together, try to find solutions. As far as Ginger goes, you know, I know the answer is going to be, we don't have lifeguards. We don't have lifeguards. It's just very disappointing. And as far as the money being allocated for that, just like leaf pickup, we had money allocated for it. What are we doing with the extra money?
It would just go back to the general fund.
Right. You know, I just looked, we're at one of the highest tax rates property wise in the county, but we're not getting the services that we used to have. It's just very disappointing. And it's hard to keep younger families here, you know, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I will say this, so you will see an article from Mr. Garrett about property taxes. About 70% of our property taxes go to the schools, only like 13% go to the city. But I understand if you're talking about the highest rate of property taxes, that's for the schools. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with you. It is disappointing that this pool is not.
And it's just disappointing to see, you know, just the shortness of the answers, the shortness of this. No, you know, you got to pull teeth to get any kind of description. I mean, it took 5 other councilmen to really pull teeth to get answers. It's just disappointing. Then you see the mayor looking at a financial magazine, not paying attention. It's just frustrating to see that, like, you don't care. Pretend you care. That's all. Thank you.
Councilman Sakis?
Yeah, I get it. I feel your pain. The taxes have gone up, and that's why we've many of us mentioned staggering schedule, try to accommodate both ends of the city. I get it. There is a shortage of lifeguards, but at the end of the day, it ain't council's decision. And there's, we've all spoke up and so thank you for speaking up.
Mr. Butler.
Thank you, Jeff Butler, 660 Sterling. My question to council is, considering we have 3 facilities, Colby, Gendra, and Spray Park, will there be a break on the price for pool passes, considering we're only going to get one of the 3 amenities now?
Those rates are decided by the mayor and the recreation director.
Okay.
So we don't have an answer. One's on the call, one is not.
Okay, so something that
They'll have to let us know about that.
Okay, thank you.
I know that Ms. Swanson, you had asked that the status related on Spray Park. It's still up in the air. That decision hasn't been made. I asked that question during the recreation director's report. Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, I'll mark audience participation closed. Committee reports. The Committee of the Whole met on May 17th at 7:05 to discuss referendum zoning. Present, Bogo, Gerritstein, Levon, Sloto. Excused, Jaworski, Koski, Sakis. Also present, Sack and Zeely. Council President Levon notified the committee that the Planning Commission recommended the draft ordinance presented to them by the law director for the proposal to amend the charter article regarding mandatory zoning referendum. The difference would be that instead of mandatory zoning referendum, zoning changes would have to be submitted to the Planning Commission for approval or disapproval and be approved by 2/3 vote of council after 3 readings. A zoning change cannot be passed on emergency reading. Councilman Gerritstein stated that this will be duplicate information for himself, Councilman Levon, Jaworski, and Sakis, who all attended the Planning Commission meeting, but the Planning Commission is also planning to review Chapter 1341, which deals with the amending procedures of the zoning ordinance. Councilwoman Sloto stated that she doesn't support the removal of referendum zoning, but she doesn't have an issue with the voters deciding if we should continue it. Councilman Bogo would also like the voters to decide. The committee recommends to council that they authorize a law director to create legislation to submit a proposal to amend the charter by amending Article 11, Initiative Referendum and Recall, Section 3, Mandatory Zoning Referendum. This item is reported out of committee. Meeting adjourned at 7:11, respectfully submitted. I will make a motion to authorize a law director to create legislation to submit a proposal to amend the charter by amending Article 11, Initiative Referendum and Recall, Section 3, Mandatory Zoning Referendum. Randy, did you second that? You're on mute.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Levon, seconded by Councilman Gerritstein to authorize a law director to create legislation to submit a proposal to amend the charter by amending Article 11, Initiative Referendum and Recall, Section 3, Mandatory Zoning Referendum. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
No.
Koski,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to ask the building commissioner to put, or law director to put Chapter 3041 to recommend that the planning commission review that ordinance or that chapter going forward. I'm going to call for a finance committee meeting at 7 p.m. on June 7th to discuss the 2022 tax budget and a committee of the whole meeting to discuss the UH lease of the community center to follow. Any commission reports?
Thank you, Mr. Council President. The Planning Commission met on May 13th, and we discussed and voted on information and guidance pertaining to referendum zoning. Also discussed and voted on was guidance for Chapter 1315 A3H. The law director should have that information. I actually don't have that in writing as it was discussed pertaining to that particular meeting. But Mr. Zeely should be able to provide council with that exact language for a meeting on that topic.
Thank you, Councilman Jaworski. Any other commission reports? Okay, seeing no old business or new business, move on to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2021-24, an ordinance amending chapter 505.20, animals and fowl of the codified ordinances of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, first reading. Ordinance number 2021-25, an ordinance amending chapter 955.02, municipal swimming pools of the codified ordinances of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, first reading. Ordinance number 2021-26, an ordinance providing for the submission to the electorate of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, a proposal to amend the charter of said city by amending Article 11, Initiative Referendum and Recall, Section 3, Mandatory Zoning Referendum, first reading. Ordinance number 2021-27, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, to transfer a sum of money from the general fund to the capital projects fund and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilwoman Kosky to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2021-27 on third and final reading. Discussion. Councilman Jaworski.
Could the finance director please explain to the public what the roughly $500,000 is being earmarked for?
Debbie, we can't hear you. Unless it's just me.
No, I can't hear.
Did you maybe accidentally mute yourself?
Her microphone's on.
Maybe if you turn it off and turn it back on.
Nope. The speaker button, you might turn that all the way up. That might help. Mm-mm.
All right, I think we're gonna have to move on without that working. Do we have a copy of her memo that I'm looking for that? Okay. Nope. Okay, well, maybe we can get back to that at another time. I'm sorry, Councilman Jaworski.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman. I just at least wanted the public to know what we're voting on.
Understand.
Mr. Council President, I did find her memo. Do you want to still continue to move on?
Yeah, but her memo doesn't describe where that $530,000 is going. It just says it's moving to the capital projects fund.
Right, correct.
That consists of Roberts or what it consists of. I think that's what Councilman Jaworski wants the public to know, where this capital fund money is going to.
Council President Levon, she went out and she just came back in, so I don't know if you want to try to give her another chance.
Yeah, she's on. Debbie, can you go ahead?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Excellent. All right, so it is to add to the property tax levy for the capital improvement for the roads, the vehicle purchases, any capital. It's not specifically for one thing. It is just to supplement that budgeted items in the capital projects fund.
Thank you.
And with any other transfer, I will only make the transfers needed to supplement the fund and keep it even.
Okay. Any other further discussion on the suspension? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Jerry. She may be frozen.
oh, looks like it. Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Adoption. Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Sakis to adopt ordinance 2021-27 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky. She popped out. Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Maria? Didn't hear your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolutions.
Resolution number 2021-04, a resolution authorizing and directing the building commissioner of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to apply for and accept financial assistance from the Lake County Financial Year 21 Community Development Block Grant Program to improve the housing stock in the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Saloto, second by Councilman Jaworski to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2021-04 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky. She came back. Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilman Bogo to adopt resolution 2021-04 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
is Kosky still off? Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Resolution number 2021-05, a resolution adopting the tax budget of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022, and submitting same to the auditor of Lake County, Ohio. First reading. Resolution number 2021-06, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to submit an application to the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency for funding for the State Route 84 Ridge Road, Rockefeller Road Signal intersection improvements and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilman Bogo to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2021-06 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
is Kosky still off? Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bogo, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to adopt resolution 2021-06 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
is Kosky still off? Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Other legislation. Miscellaneous. Adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilman Bogo to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
is Kosky is not on? Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto,
Yes.
Thank you, guys. See you in 2 weeks. See you at the parade.